Well, hello, campers. Welcome to Brave Writers Summer Camp. I've got my shirt on. I've got plans. And here's Kirsten, who is going to lead today's webinar. Kirsten is our director of online classes, and our registration for fall starts on Monday. So today, get all your questions answered, and then you can register for the right class for you. Take it away, Kirsten.
Woo! All right, welcome everybody. Well, I hope you've got a comfy camping chair, have your feet in front of an inviting virtual campfire, marshmallows ready for roasting. In honor of camp, I am starting off with a camp chant, everyone. We got to bring some fun in here, people. If your kids are nearby, grab them, because this is a repeat after me song. Everywhere we go.
Everywhere we go.
People want to know.
People want to know
who we are.
Who we are.
And where we come from.
And where we come from.
And so we tell them.
And so we tell them.
We are brave writers.
We are brave writers.
The mighty, mighty brave writers. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Julie. I was not expecting you to chant for me, but that just made me super happy. Thank you for doing that. All right. So we are camped up in here. Are we ready to go? Let's get this party started. I'm going to share screen and we are going to begin. We are going to talk about flow today, because when we catch a vision for how you can achieve peaceful flow in your language arts this year, I hope that brings you a sense of optimism and hope about choosing Brave Writer, because that really is what we're about. I know many of you are starting from a point of worry. You have kids who hate writing, or who write volumes, or are just pretty meh about writing, right? And you want to have help from us so that you can help your kids. I want to alleviate some of your worry today, so we're going to take a step in that direction together. The first question is always, where do I start, right? So let's begin with an idea of where you don't start, with grade level. There's a reason why our classes aren't called 6th grade English or freshman composition. Here's where you get to tap into the fact that you know your child so much better than schoolish programs do. Tapping into grade level presumes a set of skills and interests that may or may not match the reality of the child in front of you. And writing, that act of pulling the ideas from inside, sharing them with someone with the intent of wowing them or grossing them out or making them laugh, that's not about certain skills acquired at certain ages. It's about the affinities of the writer. So what is your child interested in? Let's start there, because we can teach everything through anything. When you're tuned in to your child's personality, natural bents, and interests, you have the fodder for the spark needed to teach them writing. And when you have that spark, like this one, I want to tell the world the best Pokemon to evolve to beat this level of the game. Then you have a child ready to learn the skills needed to accomplish that desire. The skills are the part you worry about, right? You may say, my child has illegible handwriting, writes their ideas in a jumble that don't make sense or run on forever. They never capitalize or punctuate. They write sentences and then quit. They refuse to revise and they lack sophistication in their writing. So maybe they don't know formats. They're poor at making transitions. They can't craft a thesis and proofs. All of those are the skills that give you worry. But tapping into a child's affinities gives you a way in to address those worries, okay? So let's see this in action. I'm gonna propose some paths through Brave Writer to consider. My favorite starting point in all of Brave Writer, seriously, is taking the online class Brave Writer 101 guided writing process. We've designed it for parents to partner with kids ages about 9 to 14 to learn how to move through the entire writing process with a child. Our classes are asynchronous, so there's no need to be online at a certain time of day. We also do all of our teaching in writing. So you'll log in, read posts, do activities offline with your kids, and then post their writing when you're ready. Here's what our classroom actually looks like. Isn't it pretty? You shared this space with 20 to 25 other families where you have the chance to read and ask questions and interact with the instructor and other parents. In our classes, everyone can read each other's posts. So you get to learn not only from the instructor's comment on your child's writing, but also from their comment on the writing of other kids too. We start week 1 with a game. The communication game teaches the idea that writing is about communication between the writer and the reader, and that the responsibility to communicate that message rests with the writer. The game does all of this naturally through play. The activities themselves do the teaching, so you get to pop out of the role of having to lecture at your kids. After week 1, we move into keen observation. This is our week 2, where kids build skills in the observation necessary for lively writing. This is the first chance your instructor will have to interact directly with your child's writing. So here you get a model as the instructor reacts to the writing with enthusiastic reader response. They'll be looking for accidental similes, clever phrasing, vivid imagery, something that makes them laugh, all the thing your child does already that you may or may not notice. So you get to share this feedback with your child. You can share all of it, you can share some of it, but I invite you, when you do, watch their face as you talk about their writing. Notice their reaction. This is a good way to learn something new about your child as you partner over writing. What interests them? How much feedback is too much feedback? What makes them smile? Are they eager to try again? Or maybe not. And if not, that's something you can bring back to your instructor in this class to troubleshoot. Starting in week 3, we spend 2 weeks on the most foundational practice in all of Brave Writer, and that's free writing. This is the time where a child is encouraged to pick a topic they're interested in to write about. Remember, affinities, right? You can teach everything through anything, even Fortnite, raising chickens, and football. When you allow your child to pick a topic of interest, you give them ready access to lots of language to talk and write about it. So a child who plays Fortnite all the time has a lot of things to say about it because they're already living in that world of their interest. In week 5, we begin the revision process, and here's where the magic happens. This is a glimpse of an actual interaction between an instructor and a student over a piece of writing. The student's words are in buff color. So you see them there? We have a dog, his name is Gatsby. The instructor's comments are in white. The topic is the family dog. Our instructors meet a writer right where they are and interact with the writing, offering enthusiastic reader's response. And you can see that there. We start with wow, right? For we don't, I just think you need to embody the idea of being a writer for a moment and realize we all kind of long to know how our writing lands with the reader, don't we? In a classroom, you get the opportunity for your student to have that experience. Your student will also receive affirmations from the teacher who names what's working in the writing and insight about where the writing could go. So this instructor notices vivid imagery, precise vocabulary, and description that helps the reader feel close to the action. Those are all things that are working. She suggests places where more detail and a recollection of specific memories of this beloved dog could make the writing pop even more. But all changes are left up to the author because we acknowledge that the author, this child, gets the final say about what happens to their writing. So this just gives you an idea of the conversational feel of how our instruction works and how detailed we get when we try to interact with a piece of writing. Our last step in Brave Writer after revision is to teach you how to help your student make progress in the mechanics of writing without provoking tears or upset. So weeks 1 through 5 are about content, helping writers communicate their message. Grammar, spelling, and punctuation fixes are left for week 6, right at the end. And then it's time to celebrate, milkshakes for everyone. So that's our basic class, Brave Writer 101. It's good for students ages 9 to 14. Older writers are welcome too if they are at a remedial level in writing. But what if your child is younger than 9 or older than 14 and not a remedial writer? What then? Well, we have places for them too. If you have a child younger than 9 Start with a family class like story switcheroo or telling tales. A family class is one where the entire family gets to join for one price. You, the parent, are the main interactor in the classroom. So you're interacting directly with the instructor, posting student writing. Starting with a family class like story switcheroo or telling tales, invite your child to plug in just at their interest level, only as long as interest lasts. Because with a 7-year-old, they perhaps aren't going to be interested in plugging into every activity, writing a paragraph every single time. But that's okay. This class is structured to allow that. There's no pressure to perform at a more advanced level. Play is at the absolute center of these classes. You'll have lots of ideas for activities to do during the 4 weeks, and then you can print those out and keep using them well after class ends. So these classes are a great place to start with younger kids. For capable teens preparing for essay writing, try essay prep. These are classes that can be taken in any order, and these, you guys, are utterly unique in the world of online instruction. Here, we spend time helping kids investigate essays and find out why they should bother writing them one day. They practice digging inside to pull out what they really think and to move those ideas to the page easily. And they practice important academic writing skills, such as examining a topic from multiple perspectives and researching and citing expert sources in writing. These are actually our most popular classes. They're also an intensive, quick, deep dive. So if you're going to sign up for one, try to schedule it where you can set aside some of the other work at home to give your student room to move through the material. We say about 90 to 120 minutes a week is a standard amount of time to devote to these particular classes, but your child actually may appreciate having more time. So we're going to talk flow. As I said at the beginning, you bought into this idea, right, of tuning into your child's affinities, letting their natural bent guide you to a class and a topic. And maybe you decided to start with a class. So Brave Writer 101, Story Switcheroo, Essay Prep, what have you. How can you help positive energy flow during the class? Well, before class starts, watch the video that comes with your registration. Everybody gets a link to this video. Julie and I made it to help you know how to support your child in their online class experience, because help helps. We have special advice too in that video for parents of children with learning challenges. So don't miss it. If you register for a class, you'll want to be sure to watch it. During those 3 to 6 weeks of class, even when you aren't the direct participant, so in a class like Essay Prep, for example, there's a lot you can do to help your child. Imagine that your goal as the primary writing coach at home is to remove every barrier possible to heighten your child's chance at having a positive experience. What might that help include? It could be printing readings, right? Since sometimes it's easier to read things offline first than to come back online and write. It could also be summarizing that material. This is where you help your child find the main ideas in the reading and understand the directions, especially if the reading is a little bit long or if your child needs a little help in their processing of reading. A great idea for support is to talk it out first with your child. So let's say they're going to write about a memory they have of a favorite ice cream stand that they like to go to. And they're going to need to write about this from a positive perspective and from a negative perspective, which is one of our activities in reading the essay. So isn't it nice to help your child kind of talk out? What are some of the things you remember about the ice cream stand? What might that look like? Help them generate language out loud to think through their response before they sit down to the text box to type into the classroom. You also might offer your typing skills, right? If you are a faster typer or typist than your child, how about helping a tired or unskilled typist by saying, here, why don't you say it and I'll type while you talk. And of course, brownies and neck rubs or other cozy, comfortable, and warm objects that make home feel like home should be part of every homeschool experience, whether it's online or off. Once class is done, and this is important, it's probably not time to jump into another class. And I want you to think about that because registration for our classes opens on Monday, and you may feel this need to kind of schedule back to back to back to back. So I'm giving you a different idea for flow so you can consider that ahead of time before Monday comes. School works that way, doesn't it? It's right today, tomorrow, the day after that, similar prompts, similar structure, similar, all semester long. But writers actually don't often thrive this way. Our writing class, it's intensive, right? Being responsible to an instructor, remembering to log in, reading posts, coming up with ideas, writing them, revising them. Writing is work. We don't call it a deep dive for nothing. When the dive is done, it's time to come up for some air. You can take a writing break and then assess. You have some choices. Sometimes with Brave Writer, all the choice feels confusing. I'm here to help you with some decision making, but know this too. Sometimes confusion arises when you have ideas about what you want to do and ideas about what you believe you should do. And I think this plays into writing a lot. It's not always about too many choices. In this case, it's about trusting yourself. So imagine this. You did a deep dive with your 13-year-old into Brave Writer 101, and now you feel pressure to get going on essays. After all, school kids are writing essays in 4th grade. Your 13-year-old hasn't written one yet. Yet what you want to do is to continue to create cozy writing experiences with blanket forts and clipboards and scented candles. That's Brave Writer 101. I can feel the fear and confusion mounting in myself as I consider this point of tension. What do you do with that? Here's the don't do. Don't buy something right away to lift the pressure. It's okay to pause even mid-year. If you buy a class for $198 or more, you're a member of Brave Learner Home. That would be my next stop for a quest for flow. We are better able to take a risk and follow our own good guidance than what we want to do if we know we'll have support when we take a risk and follow what it's in our hearts to do. And Brave Learner Home is going to support you as you make the next educational choice. So start there. Brave Learner Home is a fear and confusion buster. Then you could take another class, right? So after a writing pause, and a pause could be a week or two, it doesn't have to be a long pause, but after a writing pause, a new class might just be the thing. After Brave Writer 101, you could try Brave Writer 102 to learn how to get playful with revision, or switch gears and try a fiction class, or middle school writing, nonfiction projects. Once again, follow the affinities of your child. It's a great idea to sidle up to the computer with them and let them pick. You could also detour to a product. I love the pairing of darts, arrows, boomerangs, and slingshots with a class because we focus on original thought-based writing in classes, while the dart, arrow, and boomerang and slingshot help kids learn the mechanics of writing while reading great books. What a great combo. Original thought, mechanics, great literature. A month of class followed by a month of book study, copywork, and dictation is a rich combination of language arts experiences. And if you don't know this, you are not obligated to buy the entire year of a dart or the entire year of an arrow. You actually can do them as literature singles. So keep that in mind. 1 month of an arrow, 1 month of a class is a great combination. In Brave Learner Home, you actually have some options too. You could do a one thing challenge. You all, have you seen these? Every month, and they've been making these for years now. So there are so many one thing challenges to choose from. We post a themed topic and give you resources and ideas to explore it. So topics relate to the arts, to culture, games, nature, projects, and STEM. And since you can teach everything through anything, you know your kids will grow their writing skills as they talk and write about topics like these. But I won't stop there. I have something new, hot off the presses. This is our new favorite thing. You know, at Brave Writer, we're suckers for new content creation. It's a problem. We see a need and we just have to write something. We saw a need for flow, a need to leave some room for rest and recharge, to pause at the end of a class for a bit and let the learning sink in. And we thought, let's make a brand new learning space. This has been a pet project of my cohort, Jen, and mine. We've been working on this together. This is the ultimate answer to the question, what's next in the land of online classes? We wanted a way for parents to extend the learning once a class ends. And since you already know and feel comfortable in the classroom space, you can stay there and hang out with us for a bit longer. You want to peek? Here, I'm going to show you the Parent Resources Classroom for Essay Prep Reading the Essay. Ta-da! We love this space. It's such a great new resource. It gives us a place, honestly, to house all the extra ideas we couldn't quite fit into a class. You, the parent, are the one to access this classroom. So this is a space for you. You sign up for $29. It's a bargain. And you get access to this space for 2 semesters. That's right. We're going to leave it open for you for an entire year because we want you to have what you need when you need it. Inside this classroom, this is the kind of thing you'll find. Inspiration for deep dives and big juicy conversations you can have at home. New twists on class assignments. Oh, and we're going to give you a free PDF of those class assignments so you don't have to take a moment to download them yourself from the classroom. We're going to give you tips on how to revise their work from class. We're going to give you reading strategies for essays specific to this one. And we're going to give you advice on how to keep the learning going for weeks. We make these activities specifically geared to follow up a particular class. So they aren't generic, here's something you could do just to learn something. They're actually related, in this case, to essay prep, reading the essay. You're going to love the ideas in here. You really will. With this resource space, you get extra impact from your class investment. You allow for deep dives into topics of interest, and you get that language arts flow, baby. So I hope you see where I'm going with this. These are the classes we currently have with parent resources spaces. So it's new, we're building them, and we're building new ones all the time. If you register for one of these classes, you'll get instructions in the final week of your child's class on how to register for the parent resources space once class is done. We cannot wait for you to try it. So you're going to register on July 26th at noon Eastern time. So that's 9 a.m. Pacific. This is important. You'll want to mark your calendars for this to get to classes when they open. In our last few registration cycles, we've had a high volume on day 1. So this is your time to plan, understand what it is that you want, and plan to register on July 26th. But keep in mind your idea for flow as you choose classes. That may mean you don't register for 3 classes for this fall. That's okay. You're going to trust your flow. And a couple of important things before we get to the end for questions. So get ready to screenshot this one. Before I move to the next slide, I'll need to let you know, I'm going to take some questions that are coming in the Q&A if you have them, but I have another way that we can communicate too if we finish early and you are ready to go grab a cup of coffee instead of waiting here for questions for me. And I'll tell you about that in a second. So you ready to screenshot? Here's my next slide. This is it. It's the coupon code, people. As an attendee here, you get a special coupon code for 20% off products purchases through Friday, July 23rd at midnight Eastern. Here's what you need to know. This discount is good for any product purchase. It does not apply to online class registrations. We have a minimum threshold to hit of 198 with classes or products in order to make it into the Brave Learner home. So I want you to consider this next part pretty carefully. And if you buy a bundle from us, even with the 20% discount, that gains you access into Brave Learner home. So you don't need to worry about price thresholds for that. So if you buy a bundle, 20% discount, you're in. All other purchases require you to hit that threshold of 198, all right, after your discount for automatic lifetime access to Brave Learner home, which you want. So consider that as you shop and apply the code. If you plan to enroll for a class, just make sure you're enrolling for $198 worth of classes, and you will also get in automatically. We have a new thing for products called payment installments. So if you prefer to divide up a product purchase over $50. So it has to be more than $50 into 4 equal payments and yet receive the product right away and immediate access to Brave Learner Home right away, use the Shop Pay button at the checkout, and that will allow you to select the 4 payment option in the drop-down menu. So it's a way to kind of break up your financial load, but still get access to everything right away. And if you'd like a little face-to-face time with us to get your purchases decided or some detailed advice, come to office hours. This is new. You can drop in to speak to me. I will be answering your questions before registration opens on Monday. You can drop in to talk to Dawn, who is going to help you before that discount code runs out with product choices. Or you can talk to Jeannie, who is going to get you started with your new products and kind of help you navigate into Brave Learner Home, getting access and getting to the place that's going to help you most if you are new to our products or our classes. We're going to get into it with your specific needs. So you can drop in anytime between 1 and 3 p.m. Eastern. You can stay just as long as you need. We're going to be here the entire time, just kind of working away. You click on the link, you pop into Zoom, ask your question, make your comment, and then you can leave. So that's how it works. You'll find the Zoom links for office hours on this page at bravewriter.com/office-hours. Okay, so I hope you'll take advantage of that. All right, I'm going to stop share and see where we are. How did we do? Did we get our questions answered? Get our online classes things sorted? I love this time of year. It just is so fun to think about and plan. I'm such a planner. So I love planning all the things I'm going to take and things I'm going to buy and stuff I'm going to do. It's such a fresh time to be into a new school year. So this is a great question about recommended classes for a typical school year. I'll hit that one. Our high school classes, we say, are worth about the equivalent of 1/4 of a credit of a full credit of high school English. So if you took 4 classes, you wouldn't have to do anything else. We presume that you're often going to be doing something else too. So maybe you're taking a class and reading some literature and making your credit that way. As the homeschool parent, you get to decide how much you want to do and invest in and how much credit you want to assign to what your child actually does. So you get some leeway there to make those choices. But if you're trying to do a year of high school credit, think about 4 classes or about some combination of classes and other things as you build that credit together. So for a 10 and 11-year-old, I would start with Brave Writer 101. Brave Writer 101, you all, is a great way to get over any humps that you may be experiencing in writing. It's usually when you have a 10 or 11-year-old, there's some kind of a hump in place, right? It may be that they write a ton and you just don't know what to do with it. That's a great problem to have. Oftentimes it's you have a struggling writer in some way who doesn't like it for one reason or another, or who hasn't had a lot of practice writing because you've decided not to go heavy on that when they were kids. So how do you start, right? How do you get over those humps? How do you meet kids where they are? Brave Writer 101 is the 100% place to teach you that. It also gives your kids the chance to express themselves in writing, to get feedback from the instructor so they can experience what it's like to receive that positive, enthusiastic reader's response type feedback, and to get your questions answered that you have in class, because you just get to ask away, ask away. Our instructors are available to you 24/7 about anything that comes up in your relationship to writing and what you're trying to do with your kids. I have a child who's in 8th grade, pre-AP. How do I figure out how to properly place her within your program? So for a child who is proficiently writing, who is around that age, so they really, it's not a struggle for them. They'll pick out a piece of paper, they'll write on a topic, they can write paragraphs. It's not a struggle. You can consider essay prep for kind of those teens that are moving into that essay program. Essay prep is a really great foundation for anybody, even older kids, 15, 16, because you get that chance to help them figure out how to access what they think. This is actually kind of a blank page, blank stare problem that a lot of older kids experience because they haven't been taught how to root around and see the stuff that's in there, how to move it out down to the page, and then to do something with it, right? To make it into compelling writing and vivid and lively prose. Those are all skills that we work on in essay prep. Once your kids have great practice doing all of that, then they're really ready for some of those formatted essay writing experiences. Oh, I know, slingshots are going to be such a great addition. We won't be doing those as book clubs online this year, but if you have older teens, it's a great alternator to consider doing essay class slingshot if you want to do those as a combo. I love that idea. All right. Oh, I've got one here in the Q&A, so let me just make sure I get them all. Right, so all of our classes for this fall are already on the website, so you can see the schedule. If it's not on the website, it's not being offered this fall, but you can always put yourself on the wait list for classes full if you're hoping we'll open new sections. Sometimes that does happen. If we get a class and a lot of interest, we'll try to open things later in the fall for those who need it. But then we are offering a lot of these same classes in the spring. There are very few classes that we only offer once a year. College admissions essay is one of them. So we won't be offering that one in the spring, but we will be offering Brave Writer 101, essay prep, expository essay, passion for fiction. All of our popular classes are all repeated again in the spring. That schedule will be up on the website sometime in mid-October. So you can circle back then when you're trying to plan for winter spring registration, which opens the first Monday in December. So the one thing, come to the session on Brave Learner Home later today if you want to learn more about all the greatness that is in Brave Learner Home. But our one thing challenges are links and ideas about things that you can do. And what's really cool about them is they plug in on kind of I want to do a shorter, smaller version of this, or I want to go all in on this topic. And they give you different ideas according to how much time and energy you want to invest in it. So it's a really cool experience, the one thing. Story switcheroo and telling tales, right? Telling tales is a good class for just slightly older kids. Story switcheroo is, we gear it for ages 5 to 8. Telling tales is a little bit about 7 to 9. This is a little bit older because there is more that a little bit older kids are able to do in telling tales that maybe they're not ready for and would need story switcheroo to have a slightly younger experience. So it's a little bit of an age divide, but they are the same kind of class. One deals with fairy tales and the other one deals with myths and legends and folk tales. The discount code is for products only. It is 20% off products. It is not for classes. The only discount we offer in classes right now is if you sign up for multiple book clubs. So there is, actually, let me share one screen I forgot to share with you. There is for if you want to get a little bit of a discount, or if you want to be able to register early. I meant to tell you about this and I forgot, so thank you for that question. It reminded me. In Brave Learner Home, if you are a member, you get to register an hour early for our fall classes. So fall registration opens at noon. So perhaps you're not a member right now and you would like to become a member right now. Well, I will tell you that our fall book clubs, which are our only discounted classes, are available for registration right now. So if you know you want to fall book clubs, you can hop over to bravewriter.com/online-classes and you can register for book clubs today. If you register for 2, you are in Brave Learner Home, which gets you early access to registration on Monday if there's another class that opens on Monday that you would like to pick up. So that gives you an option. I just wanted to make sure to tell you, you can do that when you are a Brave Learner Home member. We also have the dart, arrow, and the boomerang slingshot kickoff with Dawn and Aaron. They're going to do a Q&A about that in July. We have a masterclass on creating co-ops in August, and then our regular Brave Learner Home community check-in. So these are all things that are upcoming in Brave Learner Home. So a great thing to consider if you want to be part of that experience as well. It's a good time to join the home. Okay, so let's wrap this up and you can have your coffee tea refill. Be back here in time for Dawn, who's going to talk products and all the good things. And we will see you then. All right, everyone? Go, go, go. Get the marshmallows and the campfire. And we will see you a little bit later today.